Good afternoon everyone, welcome to Calm in the Chaos. My name's Anthony. I'd just like to recap on our last video, fear of abandonment issues, which obviously is a really severe symptom that comes with BPD, borderline personality disorder. This video has been a little bit delayed because if I'm honest, it's something I kind of do struggle with myself at times, and it has had a big impact on many of my relationships and friendships as well. Any sort of interpersonal relationship, this fear of abandonment can show itself in various different ways, as we recapped in the last video. So I wanted to do this new video, which is the management and coping skills of the fear of abandonment issue. As I say, I'm not a wizard at this. I'm still learning myself, but on that journey I've done a lot of research, done a lot of trying myself and trying to implement different things I found helped, things I didn't find helped at all. So just a recap, got my notes here as usual. The fear of abandonment kind of shows itself in intrusive thoughts and feelings, perceived rejection and abandonment that is not necessarily, well, quite honestly, hardly ever true in a lot of cases, especially in the sort of first instance of a relationship when this fear of abandonment may come up. So we got to the end of the last one and I had a bit of technical issues with my phone dying, so I kind of cut it a bit close. So I want to really dedicate this video to sort of like talking about how we cope with this and different things that I found may help others to manage it and feel better about themselves and then add value to themselves, which, if I'm honest, I think that's a lot of where this also comes from, is the value that we feel in ourselves. Which then is reflective on our thoughts of the person we're being intimate with or having a relationship with abandoning us because of our lack of worth or a lack of value on ourselves. It gives you a sort of, as a good friend of mine Paul referred to, it gives a terrorist in your head that little bit more evidence when you feel a bit rubbish about yourself or undervaluing yourself as a person. So how do we can kind of control this fear of abandonment? First of all, I do want to say, it's a big thing, it's a frustrating thing to have to try and deal with every day. I think sometimes there's a little bit of a bitterness, because this is something that we deal with usually through no fault of our own. It's something that we've kind of gone through as a child, and then developed through those traumatic experiences. So I do sometimes think there's a bit of frustration and bitterness about having to take the time and accountability to acknowledge that we do have these reactions, and that it is now, as adults, our responsibility to try and to cope with them better, purely for the benefit of like being able to have a happy, fulfilling life after your traumatic time. So like I said, I think controlling it, I think a lot of it is hard daily work, your hard daily reminders. So we went over last time the mindfulness process of snail, situation. Sorry, I'm just going to get up on my notes before I forget it. Oh yeah, situation. So situate yourself out of something that's maybe triggered that feeling. N is notice that feeling, notice the thoughts and the feelings that come with that. That your partner's going to leave you, that's kind of your thought, or she find someone better, and then the feelings that come with that, being scared and angry and frustrated and anxious. And then you move on to the A for actions, which is fighting those urges, noticing those urges to either say something or to run away, or to sometimes, if you're really angry, to smash things up and kind of lose control. So, you know, it's about noticing those actions and trying to make, you know, notice them, but process them and try not to act on them, I guess. And I think that's where we're going back to situate. Removing yourself from that situation can kind of help with that process. So you've got the SNA, and then you've got the I, which is identify the triggers, trying to figure out kind of where that feeling may have arose from, you know, what kind of may have started that, like instant panic or instant doubt or whatever. So yeah, take note and identify. So that's N, and then the last one is label. So this is probably the most beneficial, but the one that is going to take the kind of most consistency to work through, and it's label, like labeling those thoughts and those feelings in regards to like fact and fiction. You know, fact, you know, you've been with this person for X amount of times, they've always stood by you, you know. The fiction is, you know, what you're feeling. Oh no, they're gonna leave you, you know, and why you're feeling that, etc. So that's the snail mindfulness sort of practice. That's a good thing to do when you kind of get, if I'm honest, kind of any feelings with borderline personality disorder. That process really does help give you, you know, the 10, 15, 20 minutes it needs for your emotions to kind of come back down a little bit. You then also, as it's coming back down, using these tools to sort of try and rewire over a long period of time. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it as a long period of time, but it's worth it. You know, I got to the point, especially a few years back when I was younger, I just used to be so angry about the world and, you know, people in it, and everyone was kind of set to be an obstacle or a hurdle in my life or a frustration. And it's, you know, it's saddened me really, because it's quite a sad way to exist in this beautiful place. You know, there is bad, but there is also good, and I think it's about trying to, you know, retrain your brain after going through so much bad, that there is, you know, hope out there, that there is change, that there is a life that you can't even comprehend right now. So going back to sort of like the coping with the fear of abandonment, like I said, that you got the snail sort of mindfulness process, and you kind of don't necessarily have to do snail, but sometimes, like I say, just the thing I found helped me the most was acknowledging that you did feel like that. And then that kind of takes you to the next step of like, well, okay, well, I felt like that, but why did I feel like that, you know? And then that fact and fiction, you know, trying to rationalize what is real, what you know, from what, you know, what your feared perception is. One of the sort of I can't remember if it's not an anagram, but, you know, abbreviation or whatever you kind of call it, I've forgotten the word now, but when you break something down into sort of sections, something that I really like about the fear of abandonment, with the word fear, a motivational video guy called Les Brown I listen to always says it's false evidence appearing real, you know, and a lot of the time it really is. A lot of the time it is. Our fear is, you know, just something that we can kind of assume is going to go on, but the trouble is when we assume it's going to go on, the only sort of numbers we have to add into that equation to do the maths as such is our past experiences, you know, and those sort of numbers and characters aren't relevant in the present day 9 times out of 10. So the answer to your equation is gonna often be wrong. And again, like I said in the last video, though, by perceiving that, you kind of drive that wedge, you kind of drive that doubt in your partner or in your friend, that, you know, you doubt them and whatnot, which then in turn does self-prophesize. So again, going back to jumping and starting as always, you know, I'm hoping I'll get better with this with time. So kind of next bullet point that I wanted to add about dealing with the fear of abandonment, and this unfortunately isn't something that will help deal with it in the moment, but it's something that I know from my own experience does add coping skills over time, and that is, as I mentioned earlier, adding value to who you are and your self-confidence. confidence comes from competence, as they say, yeah. But to become competent in something, you've got to keep trying and trying and trying and doing it, you know. So again, it's like, you know, trying to learn to live with your BPD. It's your confidence comes with the competence, with the hurdles that you try and overcome every day. And sometimes, you know, you don't handle it very well. Sometimes I do have to take a minute because I can feel like the emotion coming out before I've had time to think about it or assess, you know, is it productive, is it exactly how I want it to sound, is it really getting my point and my feeling across, or is it led by fear or doubt in myself and whatnot. So I think like adding value to who you are, that can come in many shapes and sizes and shapes and forms and whatnot. So one thing is, you know, hobbies. I know that's a hard one with people with BPD, because focusing for a long period of time is quite often very tricky. My friend used to joke and say my hobby was trying new hobbies, because I would always be out trying something new, and then within a few weeks I get the basics of that. Well, no, that's not exhilarating enough, I'll go try something else. So, but I think by branching out and finding hobbies, you know, whether that be an improv group where you kind of go out and meet a couple people if you're feeling that brave, or, you know, whether that be, you know, making models in your bedroom on your own for a little bit if you're not, you know, not a very social person, but just to do something that you can look back and go, yeah, I made that, or, you know, I've stuck the time in that, and, you know, I've been able to show this, or I've been able to learn that, and that can sort of add confidence and value and fulfillment in your life. And I think one of the things I often go on about as well that can kind of help with the coping skills of that is, like I said, the accountability and responsibility for your own self-care and your own kind of happiness. Fear of abandonment, as I said, this BPD stuff, it's a very complex spider web of topics. So I often find through a video I'm talking about one thing and it'll go into another, and then I have to go back and kind of do like jumping back and forth with that. But excuse me, but the accountability and responsibility for your own self-care, I think for me, giving you my personal experience, comes from like the fact of the fear of abandonment gets stronger and stronger the more codependent you become on your partner. And I know sometimes we often don't even notice our codependency because we just enjoy spending time with them, and we enjoy how they make us feel, and we don't kind of really want to spend time with anyone else. You know, when you're a productive couple, that can kind of be like a really good thing, but it's also obviously like a really unhealthy thing. But I think with like BPD and like codependency, and then tying in the fear of abandonment again, there's a lot of codependency that comes into that, and you kind of put your happiness on them. You kind of put, you know, how you're feeling, they're like there to talk to you about your downs and your ups, and, you know, and if you're not really taking like responsibility for that, you know, and you're like, oh no, I can't do this, or, you know, I still feel like that, but you're not doing anything. And I'm gonna totally admit, like, at times I've been guilty of that myself, where the consistency of keeping up the routine to have a better like state of mind, along with everything else in life, you know, like work and kids and friendships and hobbies and housework and all that sort of stuff, the consistency of that does become a bit of a, like, you know, I guess it's like going to the gym. If you're not a gym person, you're kind of like, oh no, I've got to do that, but you know in the end it's going to be better. But the push to remind yourself every day, like, you know, I need to keep up with my self-care, I need to, you know, look after myself. If I dress better, I wash more, you know, I feel fresher, and you know all the benefits, but not always is it, like, you know, again, like I say, consistency to do that. And I think with being in a relationship, and the fear of abandonment and codependency, that all kind of ties in with each other. When things are like not good with your partner, or you're fearing this like perceived fear, you're feeling this perceived fear, I think like you either slack on your self-care quite a bit, we'll start with little things, I guess, like, you know, just like not getting changed for a few days, or, you know, not having a shower for a couple of days, you know, not getting out of bed early or properly, not going to sleep properly. That was a big thing for me, like sleep, you know, that's another video I'll kind of do properly in the future. But all this kind of like self-care and irresponsibility of my own sort of balanced health, along with then feeling rubbish and then having some, you know, talking to your partner about it, you kind of like, you know, talking about something that could really be changed by only you. And I think accountability of the fact of, you know, your self-care, your mental health, your accountability of your feelings when these abandonment issues come up, and those reactions to that feeling is a really big bitter pill to swallow. But it's the key. As I say, you know, everyone can give you the information, but no one can make you walk the path. You know, you gotta lift your feet every step. It's a choice. I know some days are like harder than others, and it feels like there is no choice. But I think to learn that, you know, as much as we're going through our traumatic experiences, we didn't necessarily have a choice to be there or had a choice about what happened to us. I think it's really important to try and remind ourselves that, like, from now watching this video, you guys have a choice. You know, no one's saying it's simple, like, but, you know, as a good friend Eddie of mine on Your World Within says, it's not simple, but it's easy. No, that was so wrong, sorry. It's not easy, but it's simple. The steps are simple, yeah, to look after your health, but it's not easy to take those steps, to create those daily habits, to be consciously aware and accountable. You know, it's draining. But as I said, going back a minute ago, for a better life, what are you going to do? So another thing I like to say about sort of that I feel would contribute to the fear of abandonment being less is creating a life for yourself that the person you're with would want to be with, that they would want to be involved in. You know, so if with your, you know, BPD, you know, you're, you know, very negative, you know, which I get is a thing, you know, and you're very down all the time, you know, as much as we have our ups, and you've isolated yourself, you have no friends, you don't have anything going on, you know, unfortunately people aren't drawn to that. So you know, when you, for me, like in my relationships, at the start of my relationships, I've been very, you know, productive, confident, etc. But as my BPD's kicked in through, you know, say 18 months into my relationships, and I've started going downhill and doubting myself, and I've realised then for the last 18 months I've not seen hardly anything of my friends or done anything that I wanted to do, because I've been so focused on this person that's made me so happy. And then all of a sudden I'm a bit down. As I said, you know, oh, I'm feeling low in myself. I'm then starting to feel undervalued. I then feel like she would probably be better off with someone else. And it's, again, just all this stuff contributes to that fear of abandonment growing and growing and growing, and that evidence that you give to, you know, as I say, neg, or as my mate Paul says, the terrorist in your head. Or I'm going to kind of take that one because I kind of like that. Cheers, Paul. Yeah, so the terrorist in your head, you know, and all these things kind of like contribute to it. So I don't think, and I'm not saying that any of these videos are like, if you use this coping skill, bam, you're never going to feel the fear of abandonment again. Because if I'm honest, I think no matter how confident and stuff you become in yourself, and how much you're able to regulate your emotion a bit better and whatnot, I don't think there's going to be a part where we don't have this fear. I think it is kind of always going to be there, but it's, you know, having the confidence and tools to take that time to sort of manage it. So another kind of few points I want to go on that help, you know, not necessarily me but other people as well, you know, cope with sort of the fear of abandonment. Like I said, making a life that your partner would want to be involved in, because you know, then you have no doubt then, well, not no doubt, but you have less doubt, you know, because you give them a good life, you know, you have excitement, you have support, you know, and if you can like provide that, you know, that again adds to your value that you feel about yourself, which then adds to your confidence, which then adds to the belief that this person does love you and would want to be with you. So sort of like moving on to my next part was meditation, redirection and exercise. This is obviously something that is discussed across the internet regarding any mental health, meditation, redirection and exercise. So again, kind of going back to the snail mindfulness, this is very sort of similar, just without the structured sort of the points there. Meditation, just kind of taking a minute to breathe, close your eyes, go somewhere quiet, you know, and just try and let that feeling pass. Acknowledge it, but let it pass, you know, and just breathe. There's a lot of meditation apps out there, there's a lot of meditation videos. I have trouble doing it myself, if I'm honest, as I think most people with BPD will, because meditation is a sit down, keep still thing, and if you're anything like me, sitting down and sitting still is probably, you know, one of the hardest things. These videos are probably the longest I sit down, if I'm honest, other than if I'm writing or researching. So yeah, sort of like trying to just sit down, listen to the air, listen to the world around you, you know, go somewhere where you can feel the breeze, go somewhere you can hear the trees blowing and the birds singing, and just try and be calm and in the moment. Try not to think of anything forward, try not to think of anything back, just try and be present. And if there is those feelings, just try again to redirect them, you know, redirect them in a sense of, you know, are they productive, do they serve where you want to be, who you want to be. And some people may find, you know, that is the way they can kind of let them go. You know, this is another video I'm going to kind of cover, is letting things go. Like, that is something with BPD that is near enough impossible, but I don't believe in impossible. Everything's possible, we just gotta find a way. So that's a future video coming up, is let it go. And exercise as well. Exercise is, again, thousands and thousands of articles out there that kind of explain the benefits of exercise to mental health. You know, there's many places you can go, many gyms, many parks outside that have got recreational gym stuff, you know, that the councils and that have put in. So, you know, and also if that's not really your thing, getting out, you know, and you're still struggling with sort of the outside and people and that, you know, there's many apps you can do, you know, on YouTube in your front room, you know. And I am a big advocate for the fact that exercise helps your mental health, 100%. 100%. So, you know, if you can kind of get down the gym also, you know, or like, you know, on a Facebook group, if there's like a local walking group or something, that would be really good, because you kind of two birds one stone. Then you kind of get out, meet people, you know, you can go on walking groups, gives you a chance to, like, say, socialize. You know, I'm sure there's, in my area, there's a mental health group, Pegasus, that at the minute are organising a sponsored walk across the moor. I'm going to hopefully get involved in that. I've got a collaboration coming up with them, promoting the good work that they do. But I'm kind of hoping, again, like I said, you know, the exercise and the getting out and talking to other people with sort of mental health experiences on this walk, as well as raising money for a really good fund. So I'll put the details upon that on the Facebook page if anyone likes to, you know, sponsor us or whatnot. I'm not too sure on the ins and outs yet, but I'm going to discuss that with them tomorrow. I've got a meeting. So just sort of recapping: meditation, redirection, exercise. It again, exercise, you know, if you can get out with your friends. Like, I like to ride my skateboard, you know, it doesn't have to be like, you know, press up, sit ups, it doesn't have to be like your standard, your workout, as long as you're up moving, you know. Great motivator Tony Robbins says motion is emotion, you know. I think I've said that before. So again, just getting out and just moving, you know, whether it's a nice stroll outside, the weather is beautiful here. That's an old tin pump house, that, down in Cornwall, there, famous for its tin mines. Thought I'd come and do a little video near there. Wind's a bit breezy, but yeah. So just try and get out, guys. You know, I know it's hard, but little steps, whether it's in your garden for an hour, you know, whether it's down the shop, down the local park, just try to always push your boundaries. You know, there's a whole world out there, and I know, like, it's an adventure to get out. And sometimes, you know, with adventure comes fear, you know, but what would be adventure without fear? Yeah. So I got that. Moving on, kind of what I said, you know, activities that push your like knowledge and your comfort zone. So pushing your comfort zone, like I just kind of said there. You know, if you're actually just comfortable, you know, being in the house, try sit in the garden for a bit. You know, the back garden, maybe the front garden, whatever, and then just every day just try and push yourself, you know. Because like I said at the start of the video, the only person that's really going to push this journey forward and really going to change anything is you guys. You know, you've all got the skills, you've all got the strength, you've all survived, and you know, you've all survived. So there's strength in you guys that is, you know, unbreakable as much as you feel broken right now. You know, so just all I can say is try. If you're tuning into the video, you know, you can see there's other people out there that struggle the same. You know, maybe one day we could do a thing where, you know, a lot of BPD people kind of get together for a little, like, you know, a sponsored walk like I was mentioning earlier or whatnot, and just kind of, you know, interact, because you know, that brings value to yourself. And when you value yourself, the fear of abandonment is that little bit more easy to control. Well, a little bit easier to control, because as I said, you know, if you feel valued in yourself, then you'll believe that other people will value you. So I just want everyone to know, you know, you are valued 100%. Like, I wouldn't be able to do this channel if it wasn't for you guys. I wouldn't be sharing my experiences if I didn't want to, you know, add value to you guys. And it's been really like challenging. It's made me face a few things, you know. Like I said, this is fear of abandonment. It's something, you know, that I feel definitely contributed to sort of the ending of my relationship. So there's a bigger passion there to try and understand it, and it did take me a little bit longer to put the video together than I kind of planned. But I think that's kind of like, you know, that procrastinating about something that, you know, you don't really want to talk about as such, but you know, I do, because if I'm honest, if this helps someone else, you know, that's why I'm here. That's what I want to do. You know, I just want to be able to save someone ruining something that could really be good for them, if I'm honest, you know. So kind of on the moving on to the next video point now. There's another video coming up in the next couple of days. I've got a topic that I'm not going to drop anything yet, but there is, so stay tuned. Thanks everyone for your support and comment. Also, there is a big giveaway coming up, so if you can like, share and subscribe my videos, subscribe to the channel. If your name's down on the subscriptions, then you'll be put into a draw to win a giveaway special prize. Can't tell you anything more than that yet, but I'm just saying it is a special prize. It's really insightful. I've had a look at it myself. It's come from a really good place, and yeah, that's all I'm gonna kind of say, guys. So I'm gonna leave that with you, and hopefully the curiosity will spark you to see you in the next video. So yeah, wish you all the best. Stay strong. As I said, the more we grow, the more we help. Yeah, the more we grow, the more we help. We'll add that backwards then. Got a few podcasts coming up now. I've just been finalising a few more things, a couple more avenues coming out. I'm totally impressed and amazed by the way it's growing. You know, I'm really looking to be able to help people, and you know, just be a little window into, you know, the world of BPD for those that don't have it, and hopefully give them maybe some understanding so they can support and care for someone that they do know has BPD and do faces these daily struggles. So much love to you all, and I'll get this uploaded, and I'll see you all again very soon for the next giveaway and the next video. All the best, take care guys, big love.